where do we actually learn to be compassionate or not compassionate? First of all, what is compassion? I think of compassion, as a matter of fact, the definition in the dictionary says to be compassionate, to be kind, is to suffer with. So I thought about that. It's to suffer with, is to be, connected to the fact that somebody's suffering. It also says compassion means to suffer with another. It includes spontaneously a desire to alleviate that pain, that suffering. So I thought about that and I'm like, okay, so what is a lack of compassion? A lack of compassion is hard-hearted. Those are the synonyms. So how do we create more compassion in our lives? How do we become more compassionate? I think that's the question. If you look at what causes us not to be compassionate, and I think for me is not connecting with my feelings. When we're not connected with our feelings and we go into our head, and you may ask, okay, well, yeah, I do go into my head. I keep busy. I don't connect with my emotions. Why? Because I've been programmed at a very young age not to connect with my emotion. When I felt bad, I was told not to feel bad. When I was crying, I was told to go to my room. So there is a lot of process of grieving that I never really got to process. So there comes the compassion is so connected to your feelings, to be able to feel your feelings at the same time, feel someone's feelings. Now, let me pause here. When you're feeling someone's feelings, like you're suffering with the person, that doesn't mean you're taking on the suffering upon yourself. You're not suffering for the person. When we suffer for the person, it is not compassion. That's more codependency. When you're trying to stop someone from feeling something, right? You're trying to be the buffer between their consequences to their action and the suffering that consequences would bring. So if you're coming in between that, you are actually not being compassionate. You're being codependent, controlling, and manipulating the situation. So that's why I think connecting with your own emotions, dealing with your own self, which is called self-compassion, when you deal with you, when you deal with your emotions, when you take care of you first, then you will be able to take care of other people. A lot of times we run on empty. We give on empty. We give to everyone, and then we have nothing left over. Then we become resentful of those people that take from us. But yet, the lack of boundaries is a lack of compassion. Because when you don't have boundaries for yourself, you will definitely not have boundaries for somebody else neither. So when I think about this definition of what a lack of compassion is merciless, is devoided from feeling, is not being concerned, being callous and hard-hearted. So there's a process. When we start to disconnect with our own emotions, we start to not validate how we feel or not deal with the pain of our grief. And we run around serving people or people pleasing, putting on different masks. We will eventually kill that very emotions that makes us human. It's called compassion. And that compassion will die based on us not taking care of our hearts. It's interesting how the definition talks about hard-heartedness. And the positive definition of compassion is to suffer with, which has to do with the heart. Because a lot of times, I know for me in the past, what I've done is rescue people. And I thought that was compassionate. I thought, oh, I'm being compassionate because I'm rescuing people. No, you're being codependent and disempowering. Empowering somebody is to be able to give them the ability to be responsible, empowered to make decisions for themselves. Because if you're able to do that, guess what? They will be compassionate with other people. But if they can't be compassionate with themselves, if they never have the time to be able to suffer, what they would need more than anything is somebody to suffer with, somebody to be there with them. Sometimes the best advice you want to get is silence. It's just to listen. Sometimes the best support you want to get is to be present. Just be present with somebody. Cry with someone. I've been through some grief this year. Somebody pointed out, man, you've lost a lot of people this year. And I'm like, wow, you're right. Now, I took a lot of time to be able to grieve because I knew that without me connecting with my feelings, there's no way I could connect with your feelings. There's no way I could be a better coach. There's no way I could be a better parent. There's no way. Because if I don't take the time to take care of my heart, deal with the feeling, there's no way I'll take the time to take care of your heart, take care of people in your life's heart. So what you want to do, the first thing is, where is my lack of compassion? Start with that. Why do I not have compassion in some area? And you could tell because you stop feeling. You stop having concern. In a relationship, you'll have lack of mercy. You won't have any more mercy. You will be more judgmental and critical. Then you know you know automatically you disconnected with this part of you, this human part of you, which is called compassion. You've disconnected from being compassionate. You disconnected with your feelings, and you haven't sympathized with your own feelings. Therefore, you can't sympathize with somebody else's feeling. First of all, recognize that you're at that point. Second is don't resist that. Once you recognize that I'm here and this is what I'm feeling, this is my lack of, don't resist that. Don't resist it. Surrender. That doesn't mean you're accepting it, but you have to literally surrender, feel your feelings, and then take action. Focus on now what is next. First of all, you allow yourself to feel. Second, you move forward, you focus on what's next. And it's the same thing when you have compassion for somebody. You be with the person, suffer with the person, but also as you suffer, focus on the solution. Where are we going from here? Are we going to stay here? Do you want to stay in your situation? And if that's what you want, because we can't change anybody, you be with the person, let them suffer, but don't take their suffering upon yourself and mess up your entire life. Some people, they want people to suffer with them and not change and keep them in their suffering. Some people want people to suffer with them and then empower them to take action so they could get out of that stuckness. But then you got to recognize it. You know what I mean? You will recognize if you have compassion. If you have codependency, you won't. You will just try to rescue everyone and think that everyone will want to get out of the mud, get out of being stuck. The truth is, that's not true. Well, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please do subscribe if you like the video, and please share it. And also click on the bell button there so you can be notified with any new videos that I come out with. Thank you.